Good evening. West Midlands police officers have warned that a fifth of the force's cars may be putting lives at risk because they aren't properly equipped. The Vauxhall coursers have blue lights, but no sirens.
They were intended for neighbourhood policing and other non-emergency duties, but the Police Federation says they're regularly used to answer emergency calls and that criminals are getting away because of them. Callum Watkinson reports.
The flashing lights and two-tone siren that we expect when we call the police are known as blues and twos. But 109 Vauxhall coursers in use in the West Midlands have no sirens, leaving the officers who drive them with only the blues.
It's incredibly frustrating. There's nothing worse than hearing a backup shout when an officer's down, screaming for assistance, and you can't get there quick enough. And we're asking brother officers to sit at red traffic lights and give way signs and not assist the colleagues. People hear a police car before they see it. You hear the sirens, think, where's that coming from? You then look in your mirror, you then see the lights.
Without sirens, these cars have to wait at red lights and stick to the speed limit. They weren't ever intended for emergency response. Police unions say that a shortage of properly trained drivers in properly equipped cars is the result of budget cuts and is ultimately putting lives at risk.
There's less officers out there, less officers on response teams, and what that means is when we have emergencies, if they're all tied up, then we have to use neighbourhood policing officers or other officers to actually backfill, and they use the Vauxhall coursers to go to immediates. It could potentially lead to the possibility of someone's life seriously being put at risk.
In a statement, West Midlands Police said the coursers were provided for local neighbourhood teams and are used for a police presence. At no point were they intended for response work, as they are low-performance vehicles. The force added that the cars were not routinely used to attend emergencies. But 100 emergency calls in the last year have been attended by officers in coursers, according to the Police Federation, and serving officers say it is routine.
They are routinely used because we run out of response officers and cars too quickly because we're such a busy force. If we run out of those guys, guess what? We have to use the coursers with no sirens. They respond and they can't get there quick enough.
The cars have been introduced since 2013, as West Midlands Police has sought to shave tens of millions of pounds from its budget. Today there are warnings of more cuts to come.
In the future, inevitably, with the potential funding cuts that we are going to be facing, where we're going to be losing over 2,500 police officers and staff, there's going to be an enormous pressure on the West Midlands Police Force, and I am concerned about that.
While the force says this issue is about deployment, not resources, many of their own officers say they are driving round in cars that are not fit for the job. Callum Watkinson, ITV News.
Well, let's go straight to our political correspondent, Alison McKenzie at Westminster, who asked the Home Office for their response.
Well, quite bluntly and directly tonight, the Home Office saying it's for the Chief Constable of the West Midlands and the Police and Crime Commissioner to determine where their police cars and which ones are used. They say they understand that the police funding settlement has been challenging. In other words, they know they've made cuts to budgets, but say there is no question that the police still have the resources to do their important job. They go on to defend the reform agenda brought in first by the coalition government and now being continued by the Conservative government to cut red tape, to reduce target setting, and say that recent surveys show that crime levels in the West Midlands have come down by some 17% since 2010. The next round of budget decisions are made in November. It may not be what the Police Federation want to hear tonight, concerned about the use of police vehicles, but that is the response tonight from the government.
The family of a father of two